Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video. Today I'm doing a review of the 1974 K1 Robot and 4th Doctor set. I've got the original set as well to compare the two, I suppose. The reason why one of them is quite dustier though is because of the fact that they were on a shelf for so long. Yeah. I should probably start off by comparing the two 4th Doctor figures. The original one comes with a sonic screwdriver, I'm pretty sure. Has the sort of very darker brown, almost, jacket, as opposed to the sort of more screen accurate sort of velvety red one. This one has like black elbow pads and sort of paint on the pockets, whereas on the newer one it's brown, and that which I think is a lot more accurate to the actual TV show. The major difference, or two of the major differences though, in the 4th Doctor figure is the fact that the new one has a solemn head, meaning like no sort of eccentric smiley face, and is a lot more pale, I've noticed as well. As well as that the trousers are like the ones from the Terra Zygon set, which I really like, which is the small sort of textured speckled effect. Yeah. And that on the trousers, whereas in the original one they were just painted grey. The original, both scarves are both sort of coloured and textured on the back as well. On my one, on the new one, it's got a bit of a scratch on one of the shoulders, which is a bit annoying. I hadn't noticed how dark the original hat was until seeing this new one. The new one is a lot more sort of lighter brown, a light brown, whereas the new one is a much darker brown, I guess. They both still have the brogues, and on this one, on the new one, the tie is a lot better as well. Like the tie, the green tie is actually like sort of has like actual designs on it, whereas the original one doesn't as much. The original one is just green. However, I do think the jacket, the sort of sweater vest is slightly better on this one. Likewise with the shirt. The shirt has a little bit more detail, I think, compared to the new one, but still minor nitpicks. I do wish the new one came with a sonic screwdriver. However, I think it's just a cost-cutting measure, as well as the fact that the assumption is that we've all already got lots of Sonics and that. So yeah, it's funny, the new one has very minimal movement in the head because it's very stiff and very much sort of firmly attached to the ball joint and or peg of the figure, which is funny because in the original one that I have, the opposite effect happens, which is that his head is very loose and pops off very often. And that's not great, not ideal. We'll put the 4th Doctor to one side, I suppose, for now, and then compare the K1 robots. The K1 robot, this 2-pack retails for $19.99 at B&M's. One thing I will say about this set is that it was nice to be able to just walk into a B&M and get the set, you know. So that was cool. It wasn't too difficult to track down and that. The set is also what's the set? The set's also, the original figure is quite rare now, I think. On eBay probably goes for quite a lot. Although now, because of this release, I'm not sure if that's the case, you know. The major difference being, I'd say, off the top of my head, is that the original one has this sort of red stripes and the red head, whereas the newer one has this sort of pinkish stripe and this sort of pinkish purpley sort of head as well. If you can't already tell, the midsection is very loose on the new one, which is a very common complaint. I've seen both Huss Productions and Return of the Rocketman, or Rocketmen, both critique and or make a criticism of, or a valid point even, that the new K1 robot has this. So it does often sort of tilt back and fall or lean forwards quite a bit. You do get this disintegrator gun. You did get that in the original one. However, the both clamps were quite thick, and so removing the disintegrator gun on the original one was quite difficult. And so because of that, the on one of the clamps, it's glued back onto the I think it's this one. It snapped, so we needed to glue it back. So, but other than that, I think most of the pieces that are sort of yellowed, so like the tubing is on the original one meant to be white, and likewise with the sort of tank. But again, it's just sort of sun bleached, and that, unfortunately. However, much like Huss Productions, I have just noticed the bolt thing here, which is that on this new one it's black and then silver, whereas on the other one it's black and then silver, where it's silver and black there. Any other differences? I can't really see many other differences. Well, there's this bit, this sort of greyish bit on the neck, whereas it was still silver there. He's got all this legal guff on his butt, whereas on the original one he didn't. And then as for the head of the K1 robot, the original one is sort of more silvery, whereas the new one is has a bit more black and then silver, and that, I guess. Yeah, I think head sculpt wise, I prefer the original one, and I think I've heard people suggest putting the K1 robot in the freezer, I think, or either the fridge or freezer, so as to sort of toughen the midsection, or just put the midsection in there or something to that effect. Although I'm not sure if you can dismantle that one, as opposed to the original one, which was, as I say, a collect and build, or part of a collect and build wave all those years ago. So yeah, I think where it's concerned, I'm mainly buying it for the Fourth Doctor, for the newer updated Fourth Doctor. I'll keep the Sonic and then just get rid of this one, I think. I don't know if this one goes for much anymore, because we've got more of a screen accurate one now, I guess. I don't know, but I'm still going to keep both K1 robots, I guess. So yeah, but I think if, like most people, you missed out on the original K1 robot, I do think this set's worth 20 quid. Again, it would have been nice, I agree with Huss Productions, had they added some more like texture or some like dirt and grass patches maybe on the bottom of the new one, maybe just make it a little bit more different. It is nice that there is a practical difference, that one of the clamps is thinner, as to maybe take the disintegrator gun, remove it from the clamp without it, happening, or what happened with my original one happening again, which was that the clamp thing just snapped and that. So yeah. What else? I think that's about it, really. I think they're pretty much the same, really, where the legs, the torso, midsection and stuff are all concerned. They're I guess this newer one is more shinier. I think it's more of a sort of shinier silver paint they're using, like they use on some of the newer 1960s Daleks that we've more recently seen on the History of the Daleks sets, whereas the original one is more of a darker sort of matte silver, whereas, as I say, this one seems more like a glossy, brighter silver, and that's and the ray gun, from what I remember, is exactly the same as the original ray gun, nicely detailed, and is very much accurate to the one scene in the show. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure you can have Tom, the Fourth Doctor, hold the ray gun and that, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'd give this set a well-earned sort of 8 out of 10. It's a good set. It's not perfect. I do, as I say, wish maybe there was a bit more detailing on the feet and a sonic screwdriver included. Maybe a better backdrop as well, if you're really into the dioramas and that. The backdrop for this one was really pants. It was just literally a brick wall, and then maybe a part of the sign and that. It wasn't anything to write home about. But then again, the box was actually quite small to have a, which is weird to have such a bigger figure than usual. The box felt quite smaller, or smaller than, say, a Dalek 2-pack, which is a bit weird to say out loud. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please do comment, rate and subscribe to the channel.